Good morning, students. We do a new lesson today in grammar, that's adverbs and adverbials. So now you already know what an adverb is. We'll just learn something more about adverbs and also the difference between adverbs and adverbials. Clear? An adverb is a word that describes or tells us something more about a verb, an adjective, or another adverb in a sentence. So now, here till now, you always thought that an adverb tells you or describes a verb, right? But now you see, it's not just describing a verb, it's also describing an adjective and another adverb. Okay, so remember this, I'm repeating it again. An adverb describes or tells you more about not only a verb but an adjective as well as another adverb. Clear? Remember this, you should say this at least 3 or 4 times so you will remember. Otherwise, you'll always be looking out for a verb. See, I'll tell you most of the time, 99% of the time, when they tell you pick an adverb, is generally describing a verb. Generally, 99% of the time. It's very rarely in 1 or 2 sentences that you will get it describing an adjective or another adverb, but then you should be aware of it. Okay? It tells us how, when, where, how often, and to what degree something happens. It usually consists of one word. So this keep in mind, adverbs are generally one word. A verb being described in one word, an adjective being described in one word, or another adverb being described by using another word with just one verb. Okay. Okay. Now let's see the kinds of adverbs. First, adverb of manner. So means how things were done. Now you're talking about verb, no? So how things were done. Okay, or how something happened. This tells us how or in what manner something happens. Example, easily, quickly, boldly, tiredly, lovingly, well, fast, etc. etc. Like say for example the first one. I she speaks English very easily. So what is the action speaks? How does she speak very easily? Okay. Example, the little girl spoke softly. So how did she speak softly? Second is adverb of place. So this you know now it tells you where an action happened. Okay. So this tells us where something happens. Like example, outside, inside, up, down, in, here, there. Okay. The example would be uh, all the children jumped into the pond. Where did they jump? Into the pond. Okay. So that is your it tells you where the action took place. What is the action of jumping? So where they jumped into the pond. Third one, adverb of time. This tells us when something happens. So it tells you the when it happened, like today, yesterday, just now. Okay, so it will tell you. Not you are not talking of specifically the time like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. You are telling of basically in general. Okay, this tells us when something happens. Example: today, yesterday, soon, now, before, after, etc. Like for example, the sentence: the staff will meet for a discussion today. When will they meet? Today. Adverb of frequency. Now, frequency means how often something is happening. An action is happening. But how often it's happening, whether it's happening or not at all happening. Okay, like say for children. How often are they studying? They have lectures 5 days a week. So they're studying 5 times a week. Okay, so that is the frequency of your watching the lecture. Okay, or there was a holiday. So that time there were no lectures. So they never studied during that time. Okay. This tells us how often an action takes place. Example, never, rarely, often, seldom, hardly, frequently, etc. The sentence example, we visit our native place very often. So how often do you go there? Very often. Or we hardly visit our native place. You can also use we seldom visit our native place. We rarely visit. We visit our native place very frequently. All of these can be used. Okay. Next one, adverb of degree. That tells you to what extent the action something was done. Yes, like you boxed somebody. So you boxed him very hard. Yes, you kicked somebody. You kicked him very forcefully. Okay, all these are the words that tell you to what degree or what extent or intensity the action took place. This tells us the strength or intensity of the action. Example, very, quite, almost, more, etc. Sentence, the pizza is too hard. The pizza is too hard. Hard. So you say how hard is it? How much hard? Okay. Okay, now I just wanted to tell you like this, see this example. Now you just saw very is adverb of degree. Correct? Now here see this is an example of an adjective. This is the example of an adjective describing another adjective over here. Like if you see here, often is the adjective here, adverb of frequency, and here this is adverb of degree. This is adverb of degree. So this is describing this. Understood? So very is this adverb is describing the adverb of. Clear? So that's why I will go to this first till we finish this. Clear? So when you have an adverb describing another adverb, this is an example of it. Okay, let's go to the next. Position of adverbs. Now where the adverbs are generally positioned. Depending upon the type, adverbs can be placed at the beginning of a sentence, in the middle of a sentence, or at the end of a sentence. So it can be anywhere in a sentence. So you should be aware of that. Stealthily, the thief broke open the lock. Stealthily means without any sound at all. No one could come to know that he was there. I rarely work on my book at night. So you see, it's not the beginning, there is a word before it. Okay. And the last one, take off your coat and sit down. So where is the action of sitting down? Adverb of place. Rarely, adverb of frequency. Steadily, adverb of manner. Okay. So now let's go to adverbials. A word, a phrase, or a clause that does the work of an adverb is called an adverbial. Now generally an adverb is a one word and an adverbial is more than one word, maybe two words or three words or four words. Okay. An adverbial is a word or a phrase that has been used like an adverb to add information. So when you see an adverb, it tells you more about the action. Whereas an adverbial will be a whole part of a sentence, many words which tell you more about the action. Not just describing the action in one word, describing the action in many words. And what do they tell you? They tell you how, where, when, how often, how long, and why. To a verb. Example, we met. Now your verb is met. Now where you all met? By the train station. So the whole thing is telling you where you met. So the whole thing by the train station is an adverbial. Okay. If it was we met yesterday, just one word. It would tell you about. It would be only an adverb. Next, he stood and waited. So both are verbs. Now where did he stand and where did he wait? The whole thing under the large oak tree is telling you about his position. So the whole thing is an adverbial. The rabbit hopped. Hopped is a verb. How did he hop? As fast as he could. The whole phrase is an adverbial. She danced. Dancing is the action she did. When did she dance? All night long. So it's telling you how long she danced. He ate his breakfast. What is telling you about the action he ate? When he ate, before the sun came up. So the whole thing before the sun came up is an adverbial. I stopped and chat hastily with the locals. So here, where does he stop and with whom does he chat? Both the answers are there over here. Okay, hastily with the locals. An adverb is always an adverbial. So an adverb is always an adverbial even though it's one word. Yes, it's always an adverbial because it's describing the action. Whereas an adverbial is not always an adverb because adverbial is more than one word. It is a phrase. It is not just a word. It's a whole part of a sentence. Okay. So let's go to the exercise. I'll just read it out to you. Pick out the adverbs from the sentences and put them in the correct columns. So I've given you a table down. You have to put them in the respective columns. The wind sighs mournfully. I hope you will not make things too difficult for Malti. There is a desert some miles away. The day became very hot. The azure blue sky was now looking jet black. Azure means deep blue. Then they were going to roam outside. The other children had proceeded ahead, quivering. Quivering means shaking. Violently means they were shaking a lot. I was on the after deck peering. Peering means peeping eagerly into the darkness. The subject of electricity soon became a lifelong fascination. Books can stay forever. You are a gem. Okay, there are two commas by mistake. You can remove one. Quite rare. He was always restless. Aunt Mabel was never a success with pets. Breathe out and slowly come to the initial position. Pose. I will go to Mrs. Groover's garden tonight. So this is your table where you have adverbs of manner. If you find an adverb and it's an adverb of manner, just add it to the table. Keep on adding. It's not per sentence. It's as you get a word, you pick a word, underline it over there and then add it in this table. Next exercise, underline the adverbials in the following sentences. I've done one for you as an example. There were many shops and offices. So, where were they? You see the question, what they are answering. Okay, where were they? In the square. I have an inspector and two officers waiting at the door. So, you will say, where are they waiting? You will get your answer. We waited for more than an hour. Okay, an is missing over here. Please write an. Please write an over there. We waited for more than an hour. Here, an hour. Okay. The revolver fell on the ground. He grew weaker day by day. He would sit for hours outside the office. So where would he sit? You'll get your answer. This would inspire him during his difficult times. When would it inspire him? You'll get your answer. She walked off in a half. So how did she walk off? Closing your mouth, touch your palate with your tongue. You know what is your palate? Your upper part in your mouth. The upper part in your mouth where you can touch your tongue on top. That is called your palate. Holmes observed the area carefully. Okay. Then the next exercise is fill in the blanks with correct adverbs. The first one. The cetacean would steal off swiftly. There are words given in the bracket. You have to choose the right verbs. There are different forms of the words given to you. But you have to choose the right form and write it in the bracket, in the blank. Nobody cared about his social status. Now, we have amidst us eminent personality, very and varied. You are all waiting for the prize distribution, eagerly. I had received such a big parcel. Always earlier, never earliest. Nobody had figured how to make it happen. Continue, continuous, continued. We waited for more than an hour. Again, your an is missing. So, silently. Eighth one, they were to start their return journey, though tomorrow's. We would like your paper to cover the function. Prominence, prominently. You will have to be careful, extreme. So I hope you are able, it's not very difficult. I hope you are able to do. I'll just go back to this page so you are able to copy this a little bit. I'll just wait for a few minutes. As I said, if you have any doubts, write it in pencil and then you can clarify it with me and then write your answer. Okay, thank you and have a good day. Please do your homework.